Hi everyone, here is my EDEL 595 final presentation on applying analytic phonics to the French immersion classroom. In this course, we were asked to come up with our own personal definition of reading. I believe that reading is when a child interprets and demonstrates an understanding or a connection to print or non-print text using his or her background knowledge and experience to make meaning. The topic I decided to explore is how second language teachers, in particular those who teach French immersion, can apply analytic phonics to their classroom. Last year, I was given the job of literacy intervention for French immersion students. I pulled out struggling readers from grades 1 to 3 and provided reading lessons from the program Leveled Literacy Intervention. During this time, I noticed several patterns in these students. While they knew all of their alphabet letters and sounds they make, they were struggling to remember common sounds and words that had been taught to them since grade 1. Several questions came to mind while I was working with these students. Why are our French immersion students unable to remember and retain common sounds taught in the primary years? How come our struggling readers can easily identify the alphabet letters and their sounds, but unable to chunk them together within a word? Is the way we are teaching phonics part of this problem? In my personal experience, French immersion teachers tend to teach reading through a bottom-up approach. Students learn their letters and the sounds they make through synthetic programs such as Phonics and La Rue. The words, gestures, and songs are prescribed by the editors, and teachers use them to help their students learn the basics to learning how to read, starting with individual sounds and letters and then blending them into words. Some of the practices I have seen and was taught to follow when I began teaching grade 1 were to introduce the new sound along with the rhyming song from La Rue, introduce a dance that goes along with the song, and then have the students look at the words in the song. Other practices included introducing 5 to 10 words per week that the students were to learn, and then assign a quiz at the end of the week to see if they had basically memorized the words. What did I notice through this practice? Students that had come in with strong early reading skills continued to thrive, and my struggling readers continued to struggle. Another grade 1 teacher and I decided 2 years ago to make some changes to the common practices that we had been taught to use. We began making use of an open journal, where students had the opportunity to simply write whatever they wanted using their best guess spelling. When learning about common French sounds, we had our students come up with the words, and then we analyzed them as a class or in small groups. We were happy by the progress and the motivation of our students. While my colleagues and I continued to improve our practice, we still had other French immersion teachers wonder if a transactional approach would be truly effective. Some seemed unsure if our second language students could handle this meaning-making approach when this was not their first language. Personally, I believe second language learners actually thrive in this environment due to the strong meaning-making process they do every day in learning other languages. Many second language theorists believe that second language students can perform the same tasks that first language students do. Furthermore, many of these theorists, such as James Paul G., Jim Cummins, and Stephen Krashen, have proven that there is a direct link and transfer between the way a child learns his first and second language. Through my study on word sorts, in particular the analytic phonics program Words Their Ways, I have learned many techniques that I believe can be helpful in supporting all of our learners. Word sorts not only help students to learn that words have meaning, but they also encourage independence among students as they will eventually want to start sorting words on their own. Furthermore, word sorts are interdisciplinary, which is present in the new draft K-4 Alberta Program of Studies. Word sorts can be used to sort science vocabulary and math terms. Instead of using memorization techniques, such as having students use gestures or songs to memorize sounds, children use real words that are based on their own personal experiences. This targets a transactional view on reading, as children are expected to use their background knowledge through the use of print and meaning in order to understand how language is used in real life. A successful piece of word sorts is the way they can be tailored to suit students' needs. For example, a teacher could support a student who struggles to understand the difference between long and short vowel sounds by gathering words the child already knows and having him sort them into categories. This has the child using critical thinking skills and background knowledge to make meaning of the patterns among words. In French immersion, students also have a hard time differentiating between sounds that have different spellings. For example, my students consistently mix up the words a, which means and a, which means is, which have a great difference in meaning. By teaching students to study words based on meaning, the better chance they have at making connections when they read an authentic text. When we simply teach our students to read a word by decoding it solely by sounds, they are not making a connection about what the word means. Another suggestion in the program Words Their Way is to have students study words by recognizing derivatives. For example, in French, it would be easy to mistake the spelling for amoureux as amoureux because OU and U make the same sound. However, when we teach students to recognize the derivative amour, which means love, they will automatically process how the word should be written. Using an analytic approach such as word sorts is one of the many ways to teach students to read using a transactional approach. We want students to use their background knowledge and make meaning when they are learning to read. When we encourage students to study words as a whole, they will have a strong understanding of the act of reading itself. I believe that this approach will be successful in helping my struggling French immersion learners to succeed. I look forward to trying this approach in the upcoming year.